Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I am going to be super quick, super quick, because I just want to hit some key points. People are talking about the Carlishia Hood situation, and this situation just it affected me so much that I needed to I was on my way somewhere. Boom, stop. I had to do it live last Sunday, and now I want to do another live because there's still there's certain narratives persisting despite the fact that facts have come out. And despite the fact that there's all kinds of things being said to still put the blame on Carlicia. So let's go through these things quickly. Quickly. By the way, if you don't know, Carlicia Hood, a mother in Chicago, and initially the story was that this woman went to a restaurant, a fast food joint, whatever, had her got into an argument with somebody, and then had her son kill the person she got into an argument with. Was charged with murder, was given a $3 million bond. Her son was arrested also and charged. And then I went live on Sunday because this happened last week. I went live this past Sunday and I broke down some of the stuff that happened. And on Monday, because additional cell phone video was being shared on social media, went super viral, and that after that on Monday they dropped the charges. They dropped all the charges, released her, and yeah, we don't have sufficient evidence all of a sudden to charge her with murder. That was their official line. Now let's talk about some of the things that people have said. Okay, because here's the thing: it was said that that's what happened. It was said that she just, basically put a hit out on this dude and had her 14-year-old son carry out this hit on somebody she got into an argument with. But when the video came out, it showed that she was being brutally assaulted by this person, and he got shot by her son. There's other things, people saying, "Oh, well, the son followed him outside of the restaurant and shot him some more." And some people are still saying that she should be charged. Some people are still running with this narrative. But let's talk about some of the things they're saying. They're saying, one, she shouldn't have been arguing. My first question is, what was she arguing about? Do you know? Because of all the people that are criticizing her, I don't see anybody telling me what she was arguing about. Two, who was yelling, shouting, screaming, and making threats? Was it Carlicia or Jeremy Brown? Which person was yelling, ranting, and and threatening and making threats against somebody else? Who was doing that? Once again, in the video we've seen, because here's the thing: Chicago police uploaded to their YouTube channel. They uploaded about a minute and 26 seconds of footage that showed Carlicia and her son driving up to the restaurant, showed like 2 3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds of her standing at the counter, some few seconds of her son standing at the door, and then they showed them outside after the shooting is over. So the Chicago Police Department did not upload what happened inside the restaurant. The question, a lot of people think that maybe Chicago Police didn't have what happened. No, because even like when I went live on Sunday, I had read that they had everything. They had audio and video of what happened inside that restaurant. But for some reason, now this is key, for some reason, they chose not to publicly release it. So they knew what was happening. And even in articles from last week, they talk about her being punched in the head 3 times. Of course, they make it seem as if they use phrases like the argument got physical. The argument got physical on whose part? Because you can think, when you hear that word, when you hear that perspective, you could think that it means she got physical, or maybe he got physical, but it can go either way. It's not that she was attacked by the guy. That's not what was said. Additionally, they keep calling it a fight. She never threw a punch. She never swung nothing. She was getting beat up and attacked and assaulted by somebody. That's not a fight. That's an assault. But media still has not changed these headlines and these descriptions of the event. The media, prosecutors, and the cops push the narrative. The video seemed to show something different. But when we talk about who was arguing, who was the one that was yelling, screaming, making threats? It wasn't Carlishia. It was Jeremy Brown. 2, they say she shouldn't have given a gun to a 14-year-old. Did she give him the gun? Or did she leave the gun in? She's a concealed carry holder, and that's been confirmed. She has a license to carry. She had her gun in her glove compartment. Apparently, her son heard the commotion, came in, and had the gun in his pocket. So did she give him, because she's already inside the store. She's already inside the restaurant, so she didn't give him the gun. The gun was left in the vehicle. So he gets the gun out of the glove compartment and then comes inside and observes what's going on. But now my question is this. Why? Because there's a bunch of people that are criticizing her and him and saying, oh, he shouldn't have the gun. I'm like, wait a minute. Aren't y'all like right leaning? Aren't y'all, conservatives? Aren't y'all like 2A supporters? A bunch of the manosphere is 2A supporters. They say they support conservative principles. They say they that's the sensible way to be. So why isn't the Second Amendment applicable here? In terms of people being allowed to carry firearms and protect themselves. And then you say, oh, but he's a kid. Wait, wasn't Kyle Rittenhouse also a kid? But because remember, Kyle Rittenhouse was celebrated as a hero. Kyle Rittenhouse, the right celebrated Kyle Rittenhouse as a hero. Now, people in the manosphere and people on the right who celebrated Kyle Rittenhouse as a hero are now calling her and her son like, oh, those people. Thugs. What? What happened to supporting the Second Amendment? There's other cases. There was another case of a kid, I think he was like 11 years old. Dude breaks into the house. The 11-year-old gets a gun and shoots at him a bunch of times, finally hits him, and he's giving an interview on the news about how, he was crying like a baby. And the news is like, this young man, I guess that robber learned his lesson. But now, it's not, that same energy isn't being given to Carlishia Hood's son. Oh, yes, that young man stepped up and did a great thing. Protected his family. But when the 11-year-old white kid does it, he's a hero. When the 17-year-old white kid buys a gun, goes from Illinois to Wisconsin, to what is it, Waukesha? Not Waukesha. I forget the town in Milwaukee. Goes over there, he's a hero. I mean, the right, they want to give parades to Kyle Rittenhouse. But now Second Amendment suddenly doesn't apply. Are y'all for real? Because Second Amendment supporters, like, they be teaching their kids how to shoot from single digits, 8, 9 years old, taking them to the range, showing them how to shoot. And quite frankly, I think kids should learn how to shoot. Yes, they should learn how to shoot and learn how to respect weapons. Learn firearm safety. I believe in all of that. But let's go on. 3, she shouldn't have ordered him to chase the man and kill him. Number 1, we don't actually have evidence that happened. We don't. We hear the accusations that happened, but we don't have evidence that happened. In fact, what we do have evidence is in the video, she looks at her son and tells him to get in the car. And this is the video not supplied by the police department or the media, that was supplied by cell phone video. And this is the reason why the charges were dropped. Let's be 1,000% clear. The reason why the charges were dropped is because of the video that was provided on social media. the video that showed what happened inside the 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 um the restaurant that the media was trying to gloss over, that the police was trying to conceal from the public. What's up, Pillow Glade? Welcome, welcome. And so, like, we don't actually know that she gave that order. In fact, we saw her tell him to go to the car. Get in the car. That's what she told him. But wait, there's more. You see, let me tell you why there's more. Because why do you open fire if you have a gun, or even if you don't have a gun? If you punch somebody, if you hit somebody, why would you be doing that against somebody? Like, the purpose of defending yourself is to eliminate the threat. That should be that is the purpose. Now, a lot of people will get into fights to prove a point, which is stupid. I never advocate for that. If you're going to engage in violence, it has to. I say it must have a purpose, and it must be to protect yourself and to eliminate a threat. If he is shooting this dude to eliminate the threat, just because the dude is moving away from him doesn't mean the dude is no longer a threat. The dude is still conscious. The dude is still standing. The dude is still mobile. Now, we don't know if the dude's trying to get to a gun. We don't know if the dude's trying to get to his vehicle to get a gun and return fire. So what Carlishia's Hood's son was doing was eliminating a threat. And he did that successfully. He eliminated the threat, not trying to prove a point, because you don't engage in violence, whether it's with a gun or otherwise, to prove a point. You engage in violence to eliminate a threat. He eliminated the threat. See, I saw somebody just a few minutes ago on Red Supreme's Red Supreme's channel talking about the Travis Rudolph. And I was like, okay, interesting, because I was about to do this. And I said, so he sees what I saw, but he went someplace completely different with it. In fact, he tried to use the Travis Rudolph case to somehow make it look like she's at fault. Like he's comparing Carlishia Hood to Carlishia to the idiot, that dumb broad that got her brother's friend killed because she got mad at Travis Rudolph. He tried to compare those two. No, that's not what the comparison is. The comparison is between Carlishia's son and Travis Rudolph. Do you know why that comparison is apt? Because Travis Rudolph didn't stop shooting as they were running away. Travis Rudolph shot them as they were in the car trying to get away. Now, he says, hey, they were shooting back. That's his statement. He said that the threat continued. Cool. That's why the Travis Rudolph case is applicable here. That's why, because we can't celebrate, and I'm celebrating that Travis Rudolph got off, and that bitch needs to be charged. That stupid bitch that lied and got her brother and them to come after him, and then got somebody killed. She needs to be charged with felony murder, because she sent them to commit an assault or worse, and they died. So she needs to be held accountable. And that detective, if you look at the Travis Rudolph case, there's a detective that's involved in the case, just absolute garbage, and that was who his attorney was going off on. But he kept shooting. His purpose was to eliminate a threat. That's what this young man did. This 14-year-old did. He eliminated the threat. Just because you're moving away doesn't mean you're no longer a threat. And so that's the applicability of Travis Rudolph to this case. Whereas they kept shooting to neutralize the threat. And then the fourth point I wanted to touch on was this one. She shouldn't have ordered him to kill the witnesses. This is what people are saying. Now, first and foremost, the state did not accuse her of attempting of ordering her son to kill the witnesses. They didn't accuse her of that. What they said was, and what the media portrayed is as a witness. That's what the media has referred to it as, and it was a singular person. However, she was not saying, hey, this person is a witness, kill them, allegedly. Even by their standards, they never claimed that. What she was saying was, hey, she was with him. She's with him. So now, whether or not she told him to shoot that woman or not, she's letting her son know, oh, she's with him. Because if Jeremy Brown was a threat, now you have to make sure his friend who's with him, who was encouraging him, egging him on, instructing him to attack her, you have to make sure that threat is neutralized, or that she's not a threat. You have to confirm that. And it appears that the son confirmed, okay, she's not a threat. I'm not going to shoot. Because here's the thing. Let's say she actually says, oh yeah, go ahead, shoot her. That doesn't make the Jeremy Brown shooting not self-defense, especially since the son doesn't actually shoot. So she said, because even if she said something, he didn't shoot, so that's irrelevant. That's wholly irrelevant to what happened to Jeremy Brown. But it's clearly reasonable to wait, to make sure, whoa, she's with him. Make sure she's not a threat. Keep an eye on her. That makes more than enough sense. And had Jeremy Brown been paying attention, he might have been smart enough not to put his hands on that woman, because he didn't realize, because when she says get in the car, she's looking past him. But him, in his emotional fragility, in his bitch assness, he was so consumed that he couldn't even stop to think, wait a minute, who's she talking to? He didn't even stop to turn around and say, whoa, maybe I need to back up. Maybe I need to shut the fuck up. Maybe I need to stop running my mouth and just wait for my food. Maybe that's what needs to happen. But he couldn't see any of that. Because he's that fragile, and I'm not going to refer to him as a black man. Because that's not what manhood is. That out of control, that prone to emotionalism. Listen, we all have emotions, but not being controlled by our emotions is one of the functions of manhood. One of the functions of manhood is not being controlled, consumed, and inflamed with emotions to the point where we're just doing stupid shit. And in his case, it was the last stupid shit he ever did. But I want to point those things out. Oh yes, and so the suit. And thank you, Pillow, for talking about the suit, suing the media, because yeah, the media was on some bullshit. And the media is still on some bullshit. The media is on some absolute bullshit with this case, because they're still trying to they're not acknowledging how this happened. They're not acknowledging that all of this drama and all of this attention to her was because they painted a narrative. The government, the cops, and the prosecutor wanted to paint a narrative. The media, and once again, let's go back to the fact that a bunch of these cats are that claim to be on the right, claim to be conservative, because you see these manosphere dudes. You got a bunch of these manosphere dudes. I've been on their panels. They'll claim to know conservatism and have no clue, have no fucking clue about conservative principles. They repeat Candace Owens' talking points. That's the depth of their conservative knowledge, and they don't understand anything. But here's the point: I've been on their panels, and they'll talk about how they like Trump, and Trump is Trump talked about how media is fake news, media is the enemy of the people. But now all of a sudden, Now all of a sudden that a black woman is in the crosshairs of the media. Now all of a sudden the media isn't the enemy of the people. Now all of a sudden it's not fake news. Now all of a sudden they're not just not fake news. They're not capable of being fake news. Now all of a sudden they should be trusted, despite the fact that they're saying stuff that we can directly see is not true based on the video that was put on social media. Because remember, if it's not for the social media video, Carlishia Hood is still in jail. And they're still running with this fake narrative that they were running with since last week. That boy should, okay, so here, hit him hard. That boy should not have a gun, but I wouldn't call that murder. It was self-defense. The boy used his mother's gun. And this is not the first time that's happened. Like I said, there was a case. There's an 11-year-old. I forgot where it was, but some little white kid in Midwest, I think, or yeah, some like Midwest or something, had got a gun in the house. Somebody tried to break in. Somebody broke into the house. The kid gets the gun, shoots at the guy a bunch of times. I think he shoots at the guy 12 times, hits him once, and the guy and he's being interviewed by the media talking about, and he was crying like a baby, and he won't be doing that no more. And the anchor, the person interviewing him, is like, ha ha ha, great job for protecting your household. 11. The kid was 11, and it's good. But now a 14-year-old black boy was automatically a thug. He did what he was supposed to do. He protected his mama. And I'll call him a young man because he's demonstrated his growth and his making steps into manhood. I applaud that young man because he showed restraint. Number one, he showed restraint in that he didn't pull out the gun when it was just an argument. When that man put his hands on his mother, that's when he pulled the gun. That's when he pulled the gun and shot. Before then, he just watched. He watched and waited. And and so like the narrative that's being pushed, if you look on social media, like there's these deranged right wingers like Andy, this Asian dude that always is putting out anti-black propaganda. He put up this, and he's still running with the original narrative that she's a thug and she's raising a thug. And you see the responses, yeah, that's what they do. And some people are more explicit in saying, yeah, what do we expect from the blacks? They're just going out with that because this is the lies that people want to tell. Black people, no matter the age, shouldn't have guns, according to some people. Meanwhile, whites take this 7-year-olds to the shooting range. That's what I'm talking about. Like, Kyle Rittenhouse was a hero. To the right, Kyle Rittenhouse was a hero. But to those same people, Carlishia Hood and her son are thugs and criminals. Those same people that were celebrating Kyle Rittenhouse as a hero are calling Carlishia Hood and her son thugs and criminals. It's crazy. But like I said, I'm not going to be on here long. I'm about to get off here. But I wanted to hit these points because, and she's right to sue. She's right to sue. And like Pillow Glade said, yeah, she should sue the media. The media has been on some bullshit. But it's time for us to start waking up and realizing, because here's what happened. When I read the article, because I originally heard this case and I thought this woman was a monster. And I came across this case because there's this content creator who's involved in the war of the sexes, and the war of the sexes is some dumb shit, right? But she's involved in it, and she was talking about the case, and I'm like, oh my god, she's going to try to defend this horrible mother. That's what I was. That was my initial thoughts about this case, and then I started looking into the case because this is on Sunday morning. I'm looking into this case, and then I find that the cops have footage of everything that happened in there. So once they said the cops have audio and video footage of everything that happened in the restaurant, I'm like, why didn't they post it? You go to the Chicago Police YouTube channel. Why didn't they post what happened inside there? Because now my spider sense is tingling. But now my spider sense is tingling, and that's when I went to social media to start trying to find the video, and that's when I found the cell phone video. And then I'm infuriated because it's clear that they had access to this information, and it's clear that they even knew about the assault because the media wrote that she was punched 3 times before her son shot the guy. They wrote about this before. This is before the cell phone video comes out. They wrote about that, but they were still pushing this narrative that she's the bad guy. And so I, I want to touch on these, and I'm if I have the time, I'm not going to jump on any panels today because I got to take care of stuff today. But if there's some panels, in these next coming days, I'm gonna try to jump on some of these Manosphere panels to because these dudes, they want to tell a narrative about this ratchet black woman, and I'm like, guess what? There was listen. You don't need to say if you want to tell a story about a ratchet black woman, you can. But it's not Carlishia Hood. It's that bitch that was with Jeremy Brown. That's who the ratchet black woman was. The one that got him killed. The one that egged him on to put his hands on that woman. And now I saw a picture of somebody twerking on a cardboard cutout, and they're saying that's the same chick. Like, you want to tell the story about a ratchet black woman? Talk about her. If that's what if you're so consumed with this war of the sexes that you need the if you need the moral of the story to be about some ratchet black woman, talk about that chick. Talk about her. Because Carlishia Hood in the one. She's a single mother taking care of. Well, I don't even know. I don't even know what the situation is with her. The father of her son. I don't know. We don't know if he's in enlisted or what do you call it? In the military. We don't know. I don't know what the situation is. All I know is she was there with her son. She was exhibiting restraint from what we've seen. Her son exhibited restraint and then did his job of protecting his mother. I applaud the young man, and I'm glad that I saw some other people talking about it. Like even Nicki Minaj talking about paying for his college, which, like I said, awesome story. In fact, that not only did he protect his mom, but that the video came out and that the charges were dropped. Because like I was going off. If you saw my live on Sunday, I was going off. I was pissed. And then on Monday, they dropped the charges because now the cat's out the bag. Because now the footage that they didn't want to release to the public is out to the public, and now they can't run with the same narrative. That's what really happened. And that's why she should be suing. She absolutely 1,000% should be suing. And I anticipate the city settling fairly quickly. Thanks for checking out. Thanks for coming on to the stream. Let me see. Let me just take a look at these comments. Black people. Okay, yeah. Prepping them for the future, basically. As a Chicago native, some of the people out there can't be played with. Dude should have kept his hands to himself. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so sad that this black woman was beaten and still it boggles the mind. It boggles the mind. And like I said, that's why. Yeah, I mean, that's why I want to get on some of these panels. I want to get on some of these Manosphere panels. I don't know if they're actually going to be talking about. I couldn't find the link for Red Supreme's panel because he was on just well, he might actually still be on, but I couldn't find the link, and I wanted to do this live, but I won't be able to jump on there because I got stuff to do. But if the Manosphere cats are still doing footage into this next week, I'll try to jump on some of those panels. Nobody's denied. All right, thank you. But if that's what people want, if that's the angle they want, they have one. They don't need to make. You don't need to make up stuff about and imagine. Well, imagine if she said this. Well, listen, we don't. Imagine if she called him a bitch and said that she dares him to hit. Imagine if she said, "I dare you to hit me. I dare you. Come on. You're not a real man. Come on and hit me." Imagine if she said that. Yeah, we can imagine a lot of stuff. We didn't see any of that stuff happen. Yeah, he needs a good mama's boy free ride through college, especially after this slander. I think any man or boy would have done the very same thing. A week ago, I would have assumed that that was right. After seeing what happened this week, I think there's a lot of dudes that wouldn't. And this is it's something I'm realizing, that a lot of dudes just may have significant issues with their mother. And I'm not saying that to be as a pejorative, because like one of the reasons why I'm triggered by this is because stuff I've been through. And like, I don't have a lot of time today, but I'll talk about it at a later point. That it's things that happened that emotionally affect them. So I think a lot of dudes, and many of these dudes may be dudes that are watching the manosphere. Maybe some of them are even manosphere content creators, but they have significant issues with with their mothers. And I don't know the extent of how much they have been through, but that hostility appears to still be with them. And if they're looking at, if they've had just a horrible relationship with their mother, and now they just see in Carlishia Hood their mother, that's why they're going to make all these excuses to try to paint her as the horrible person they see their mother as. And so, those dudes, I don't think would step in to protect their mothers. um, exactly. But thank you everyone for checking out this live. Uh, as always, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and have a rest. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you later.